Hey folks, I'm making this video for the archery subreddit. So I see a lot of people posting about hitting their arm and bruising their arm pretty bad on their forearm when they're shooting. And I found a number of ways that helps prevent that. And I see, like, I've been through it myself. It get really tough and it's really painful. And it can take some figuring out and tweaking your form and stuff like that to prevent that. But I'm just gonna show you some really quick ways to stop that. And the first one is the easiest. It's just wear an arm guard. Get a longer one, especially because it'll also protect up to your elbow. And a lot of people, especially women, tend to have elbows that sort of hyperextend a little bit when they're shooting a bow. And that will actually kind of get in the way of the bowstring before the arm guard is actually there. So the bowstring will just hit you above the arm guard or even pinch your skin. And that really sucks. This one I think was like 10 bucks. It was even longer than this one. This one I got off Amazon. So I highly recommend it for beginners, at least until you figure out your form and understand what's causing the issue. The second thing, and this is the most common reason why you're hitting your arm, is your grip, and I'll explain that. So, to hold a bow, most people, beginners especially, will hold it like this. Sorry, you'll hold it with a vertical grip, just like that. And when you're holding with a grip, as you can probably see here, your forearm's in the way, especially if you have a wider forearm, or like I said, you have like a hyper flexible elbow. Your string is gonna hit you in the arm. There's almost no way to prevent that if you're holding the bow like this. The thing is, typically when you want to grip a bow, you want to be using a grip more like this. You just want your thumb and your index finger. I call it kind of like the Nike swoosh. So again, tilt it a little bit to see that check right between your index finger and thumb, and that's how you want to place the bow. Look right about there, and then gently, you almost just want to push the bow down a little bit, but that's all you want to do. These fingers you don't even need. And what you notice is our forearm's not in the way of the string anymore. So when that comes in, it's not going to hit you in the forearm. The last step, and I found this out the hard way, spent weeks trying to tweak my form, wore an arm guard, still didn't help, which is a little bit more technical, a little bit more advanced, is checking the brace height on your bow. I don't want to get too much into it because I was trying to make this really quick, but basically, let me see if I have my bow square here. There we go. If you have so brace height, I'll show you real quick, is this distance between the riser and your string. You can measure it in inches, millimeters, whatever. See, mine is about 7 or so. It's probably too short. But the problem is that if you have too short a brace height, then it's going to kind of reduce the amount of room you have, basically. When you're shooting your bowstring, when you're letting go of the bowstring, it doesn't give you enough of a gap. It also affects how the bow shoots and how the arrow flies a little bit, but I'm not gonna cover that too much. Basically, if you find that you're wearing an arm guard, you have perfect grip, you've had a coach or like an instructor or someone look at it, and you're still hitting yourself in the arm, nothing you do seems to help, I would check that, because I had the same issue. I took a long time bruising my arm, and I found out that it wasn't my form at all, because as soon as I changed my brace height, I stopped hitting myself in the arm, almost like magic. So that helped significantly. How do you change your brace height? You basically, when you unstring your bow, you see how it's wound up. You want to undo or tighten some of these twists. So you don't want to like straighten out the string completely, but basically.
So I misspoke here, but you basically want to. Basically, what you want to do, if your brace height is too short, you want to shorten your bowstring by increasing the amount of twists. So add twists to shorten your bowstring and increase the brace height. Hope that helps.
You just want to make sure that you're increasing this distance. And that helps prevent some of that string slap. So I'll show you how to do that in just a second. I'm going to cut to that part, and I'm also going to show you the bow grip from the other angle, so I'll be right back. So first thing was the brace height. To change that, you want to unstring your bow, right? And then take the string off. And what you want to do is, depending on, you know, if your brace height's too long or short rather, you kind of want to wind it, increase the twist basically. So you're twisting it along the pattern. It's a little weird, might be hard to see on camera, but along where those twists are already existing. So with that, you're basically increasing the tension on the string. And then when you go to string the bow back up and loop the string back on, it should increase the brace height because the limbs are a little bit tighter, if that makes sense. The bowstrings, you're essentially shortening the bowstring and bringing the limbs a little tighter, closing that gap a little bit, which actually increases the distance between your riser and the string. Cool. So strung my bow back up. It might be hard to see on camera, but the brace height increased just a tad, say about 1/4 inch or so. And so basically that means that the string is a little bit further away from the riser. So that, again, if you tried everything and nothing seems to help, your grip is perfect, you're still wearing an arm guard, and you're still hitting yourself, and you know it's not your form, then I would take a look at that. Have a coach help you, buy a bow square online, try to figure it out on your own. I did it on my own. It's not too hard. Just had to do a bit of research, and that should help, and that should sort of solve that problem, because it did for me. What was happening for me was I was hitting myself right past my arm guard on this part of my wrist, and I found out that it was just my brace height. Once I changed that, it basically stopped, and I never really had an issue again. Last thing, I'll just show you the bow grip from the other angle. So your bow grip, again, most people grip it like this. You can see that bowstring touching my arm right there. What you want to do is have a grip more like this. Fingers off to the side. Close them out. Just your pointer, down on the bow. Your thumb wraps nicely around it, and a gentle grip. And you see how much less of my arm there is. Even when I'm almost fully straightened out, I'm almost standing horizontally at this point. I'll show you here on camera. Right, if I draw, not gonna fire, but there's almost no way that I can hit my arm with this grip. So, hey folks, last thing about brace height that I forgot to mention earlier is that every bow should have a recommended brace height listed by the manufacturer. So you want to stay within that range. Usually it's a bit of a range. I think mine is about, I think it's supposed to be around 7.5 to like 8.25 inch, something like that. Obviously you guys saw that it's not exactly within that range, but I haven't shot in a while, so that's why it's kind of, you know, let that slide. But point is basically double check with the manufacturer. It might be a little hard, especially if you have a bow that maybe is custom built. Some people have custom built bows, or might be from a smaller local manufacturer like mine was. If not, just try to contact them and try to be within that range, because I found out that mine was way short. So again, mine should have been around 7.5 to 8.25, and I think my brace height was closer to like 6.5 or less than 7, and that's what was causing the issue. Bow square you can get on Amazon really cheap. I think that one was like 10-15 bucks. I know it's kind of like, you know, Armguard's 10 bucks here, bow square's 10 bucks here, but if you find that you're having these issues consistently, I think it's worth the investment, just because you can enjoy archery a lot more if you're not constantly hitting yourself in the arm. I feel like it's just kind of, you know, there's good ways to prevent that and resolve that. But yeah, let me know if you have any other questions that I'll be happy to answer whatever I can. I'll post this on YouTube or Reddit, wherever. And yeah, happy shooting, and thanks for watching.